Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den. My name's Digital Dragon, 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. Hope everybody's having a great day today. A beautiful day outside. Unfortunately, there's pollen all over the place, but it's still a pretty beautiful day outside. Hey, Wilk Allen, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. So, yesterday, some of you may have seen the post on Twitch, but yesterday I was over at the local 3D printing shop, well, semi-local, known as Ecovate 3D, and was working on the Optimus P1. Good news is all the axes are moving, everything's cabled up, and we were able to push plastic. However, we're having inconsistent pushing of, so we're working on it. Still a couple of things that we can do to it, but we're trying to get it running and good and at least printing under the existing Marlin. And then we'll figure out if we're going to take it the next step and basically do a brain swap on it and take it to class. I want to keep that existing board as a fallback option so that we can, if we have to, or we're going to get rid of it, sell or whatever, we can swap the motherboard back in. Hey, Foxy Alley, welcome on in. How's it going, Eagle the Dragon? Welcome in. Be right back in Northeast Iowa. Okay. I'm not sure. Is the weather bad out there? I know there's been some bad weather several places. Today, we've got a few things that have arrived. We've got our beacon probe, the normal type, means just a straight with the connector sitting up at a right angle versus the low profile where the connector goes straight out the back. So this will work on our Takeoff tool head mount. And then we've got our Manta M8P board, which means we can go in and start doing our brain swap and swap from, the existing Manta M8P that was running this Trident to an M8P to allow us to run the other two motors so that we'll have all four motors running. Now with that, I'm going to have to do some wiring because we pulled all the motor wires and we're going to have to still figure out the tool head wiring because it is CAN bus, or at least it was CAN bus. Of course, our options are extend the wiring all the way back and brain fart, and run it, home runs for everything, or we can run a tool head board, which won't have an awful lot on it, but it will at least let us continue to do CAN bus. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. We'll have to think about that part as soon as we get there. Nope, just cold. Gotcha. Hey, Rob C, how's it going? Happy Thursday. So, yeah, last night over at Ecovate, let's just say we rolled out of there about 11 o'clock, so I didn't get home till a little bit after midnight. And so we're going to do this. We're going to attempt to do this thing called a short stream tonight. Just go until about 8 o'clock. I've already set an alarm so that I can go and spend some time with Mrs. Dragon before she takes off this weekend for her conference that I have completely forgotten she was leaving for. But yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and get the Trident up here because we're going to have to lay it over on its side to start doing some brain swap stuff. So pull some of the other things off of it before I do that. Ugh. So to bring everybody back up to date on this, because we've jumped around a little bit with the Optimus P1 stuff and the Kitty Tech which, if you remember on the last stream, we tried to fix and we realized that the thermocouples that were in it were 4mm, and the ones that I ordered that were supposed to be for that came in as 3mm. So I've got some 4mm ones that should be here tomorrow. So hopefully I can get that up and running and get it back to the gentleman I was working on it for. But hey, Piz Liz, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're going to start off, I guess, by putting this over on its side. And yeah, we're going to lay this down on its side so that we can take the bottom panel off. And I'll try and turn it so that we can see everything there in the camera once I get this laid over. Now, I did scratch my table up some, and I'm not sure what was catching and scratching. So I will throw some rags and stuff down. Thermocouple wire is going to be out in the way, so let's see if we can't wrap that up. But on the Trident, I guess I should recap that first. On the Trident, we've gone to a Siboor all-wheel drive CNC machine setup with 9mm belts. This will allow us to run faster speeds. It will let us hopefully be more accurate because we've got 2 motors on each direction. So these will be our X's, or actually, yeah, B's or X's, Y's or A's. So 4XY's go ba, so B, A, so A1, A2, B1, B2. And that'll let us go a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate. To add to that package, we have done a toolhead swap. So we're going to have a Chube hot end running a, that was a 1mm West 3D nozzle, Undertaker nozzle, so it's a hardened nozzle. This is the Takeoff tool head, so it is an SLM printed tool head, so it's all 3D printed metal. We're running an FXD extruder because instead of grabbing the LGX Lite Pro, I grabbed the LGX Pro, and the LGX will not fit on this mount. But don't worry, I do have a different printer that it will go on. So yeah, this thing is basically the same exact setup that Modbot has put on his system, except I think he went with Siboor CNC. It wasn't an all-wheel drive, and it was still with the 6mm belts, but very similar to what he did. And I know that I believe Canuck Creator just did this. I've had the Takeoff and the Chube sitting here since Rocky Mountain last year. It's just been taking the time and in the schedule to work on this particular printer. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. But before I do that, I think what I'm also going to do is remove the bottom panel clips. I normally leave them on because it makes putting the panels back on later easier. But I'll go ahead and take these off, just to make sure that these weren't what was causing that scratching, scraping before. Hey Timor, how's it going? Hope you are doing well, my friend. What do I do with the rest of the... No. Good question. I don't know what I did with the rest of them. So, we'll go right up there for the time being. Removed it from one side, we'll remove it from the other side. Get my little tripping hazard out of the way here. And then I'll go ahead and lay this down. It's a little bit more of a pain in the butt too because it's a 350. As printers get bigger, they just get a little more unwieldy to move around. And as I make that statement, you know, once again, I've been working on a 600 by 600 by 1000 printer, which has got me thinking about a large scale printer again. We've got the rat rig, which is a 400 size. But I keep thinking, do I get a rat rig 500 as well? Or do I do something like a Tronxy, or possibly even a FISEC has a like a Voron 2.4 kit. Can't remember what they call it. I'm sorry, yeah, FISEC. I may get one of those, 600 by 600 by 600. So yeah, Pez, it's been a while since we saw this with the pop blue and pop purple. And it's so cute because this is the bigger size. And then we got a Manta M5P and a tiny little UHP 200. I'm thinking we're going to swap this out with a 300 or a 350. I think it's a 350 that I have. Just because we're going to be running 4 motors, the beacon probe, and a few other things. So we're going to have a little bit more current draw. And I don't know if the 200 is going to have enough oomph for it or not. So I just want to make sure. And what we're going to do basically is move the wires from this over to the 8P and just start doing a brain swap here. I should be able to, I think the mounts are the same maybe. If not, I may have to print out mounts for it. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to print out a set of mounts for it. Darn it. Didn't even think about that. I don't think we're going to need that. We'll add Ducky to our dash of ducks. So how you been doing, Liz? What are we down to 43 days now? It was 45 on the last stream, so it should be 43 if I remember right. Okay, so what I want to do, kind of look at how everything's set up. Yeah, yeah. So the wiring's or the power's coming in over here, and my drivers are going there. CAN bus, this is 24 volt up here. CAN bus 24 volt. I think that's 24 volt coming around for the I'm gonna take some pop some things off here. .24 volt. There's just here to here to here. CAN bus. I'm getting we got bus wiring. Oh, that's right. We've got two CAN buses here. One that comes out to the um, tool head, and then one that was a rear panel mount that was for the box turtle. That makes sense. I guess what I ought to do is just pop some wires free here so we can try and figure what's going where. Z, another Z, and wires. The main wire for the board, that's where I'm trying to trace and see where these are going. Directly back down to the power supply. Okay, good. I don't want to take too much out just yet until I get this board set up and I can start taking things off and just putting it directly on over here. And that'll make it a little bit easier. We're still going to bring our CB1 module up here. We'll have to redo some of our wiring, but that is doable. Okay. Yes, it is so roomy. Like I said, it was basically, honey, I shrunk the electronics on this one with a Manta M5P. We're used to seeing like an octopus here, right? So it's a smaller board overall. And then we're also used to, oh, what am I thinking? We're used to seeing a larger like LRS based power supply rather than the UHP power supplies. Guess what I'll do is I'll bring the Manta M8P schematic up. Also, bring that up over here, browser window. Manta M8P GitHub. This is a version 2.0 board. That, and we'll jump over that. Hit open. Hey, Evil Diesel, how's it going? Welcome in. There we go. That. Okay, so what I need to start looking at first is kind of just my jumpers. I'm going to scroll down through the board here. Be helpful to say what goes where for the pinouts. CB1 board. UART mode. So for UART mode, we are going to short the jumper. All right, let me get my eyeballs working because okay, yeah. I was setting the right jumper. Red on black. Very, very bad for manuals. No, I'm good. I needed to confirm what I was pretty sure I already knew, but so what we're doing is we're putting a jumper right here. So second going left to right or third going right to left. We're going to put a jumper on there and just push it down. Make sure it's fully seated. There's your jumper. We're going to do this for all 8. Like I said, just kind of love when manuals put a red outline on a black background. Makes it lovely to see from a distance. So yeah, we definitely have plenty of room to put a larger board in there. Um, oh, gonna go through and get all of these put on there. We're using TMC 2209s. There's also plenty of room here that if I want to get really, really crazy and, run like some 28 or some 28-volt drivers and things like that, we could do that. We just have to run them external drivers because this particular board doesn't support 48 volts, or at least not on 4 motors, because we'd run it on all 4 of the AB motors. Yeah, last night when we were working on the Optimus P1, we had a little, we'll refer to it as a snafu. You go, what kind of snafu did you have? Well, kind of drove the uh, nozzle, well, raised the bed into the nozzle and broke the titanium heat break. So that was fun. Driver voltage selection, you have to put these in regardless. So I believe the left is standard input voltage, and then the right 2 are so this is these 3 pins between the connector and basically where the UART pins are. There's 3 pins right above it. If you jumper the left 2 pins, it pulls whatever VN is. If you jumper the center and right pin together, then it's going to take the high voltage input. So you'll notice that you've got power and motor driver power. So basically what you're doing is you can put your 24 volts into motor or into power, which is board power, and you can drive these higher, or 12, 24, or however you want to do it. So we're going to drive these from the standard voltage. So we're going to put these on the left, the center and left pin. Like I said, I'll have to double check. Normally they've got beefier capacitors if you're going to be running the higher voltages, but these do not. They've got 63 volt capacitors, but they're shorter. Okay, so I've got all the drivers set to UART, and I've got all the voltages set to board input, 24 volt, however you want to call it. 43 days, yep. Yeah, 43 days, and I have nothing. Well, I haven't printed like any new maker chips. We're just going to bring what we still had from the last show. I've got some special stickers for the show. We're going to have projects to bring. Evil Diesel, I need to talk to you about some changes that need to be made. So remind me, and I'll try and bring it tomorrow night. Subdued for your safety. Yeah. Okay. Dragon needs coffee. Reach. Dragon needs coffee. Dragon did not drink any coffee yesterday and felt it. Okay. So we've got the driver set up. We've got 5 driver boards here. I'm just going to go ahead and pop those off and pop them on over here. We'll need to add 2 extras, but I've got plenty over here. Yeah, oofda. I'm going to say that was probably my reason for driving the toolhead into the plate and breaking a brand new titanium heat brake. But that's okay. I've got replacements inbound. They'll be here tomorrow. Hey, Shrimp Father, how's it going? So there's the original 5 popped out. That'll make it easier to see our motor wires and what's where. So we had our B and our A at front, Z, Z, and Z. And I think we keep basically that same setup. And then we add the other 2 drivers down at the end for the X1 and Y1. But we'll double check. I'm not sure if they've got a config. I guess let me see if there is a config for the Siboor kit. Add. I don't think they do. That's just a CAD. Okay. So we'll have to play around with that. What I can do is look at one of my other all-wheel drive setups. We got a couple. We've got the VZ Bot. We got the A3 or the Annex Engineering K3. So we can easily look at another setup when it comes to plopping things in. But I still think we're going to stay B, A, X0, or excuse me, Z0, Z1, Z2, and then add the other 2 drivers down here at the end. It just makes the most sense. Fans. Need to do our fans. Installing the BTB connector. I will do this afterwards because I'm going to have to take this off. And I want to try and get some of the wiring, or at least, yeah, I need to get some of this wiring in place before I go swapping that stuff out. So these are currently the end stops. Trying to look between two different boards. No, those are ergobas. These will be fans. And one fan 0. So fan 1, fan 0. And both of those are 24 volts. Let me rephrase that. Both of those because the one is coming down here, so that is pick a fan. Fan 1. Fan 0 is up to fan 0, which is down here. This is my bento box, and that's also going to be 24 volt because part cooling fans were originally coming off of the toolhead board. Our part cooling fan cannot come off the toolhead board this time. It's got to come off of our main board here because it's running 12 volt. It's 4-pin wiring. Does the Manta M8P support 4-pin fan? Yes, they do have some 4-pin fans. Let me switch over to full display. So they do have some 4-pin fan headers over here. So you've got 0, 1, 2, 3, fan 4, fan 5, and fan 6. So 5 and 6 are the 4-pin headers right here. We can set those to 12 volt, which would be the middle set of pins on the jumper blocks, like so. If we go closer to the fan header, that's 24 volt. If we go to the stack furthest away, it's 5 volt. And this will allow us to run our Takeoff tool head because we're going to have to bring those all the way back. Now, because they are, they're going to be running at the same time, right? We don't want them running at different speeds. That'll give us wonky fan setup. We would want to, words on stream. We would want to either run them to individual fan headers and link them together in the config, or we could basically make a 2-into-1 pigtail or something like that and bring them back as a single fan connector and go into one or the other of these two fans. So that's a decision we'll make a little bit later when we start wiring up the tool head. Hey, Swamp Dog Armory, how's it going? Swamp Dog Armory, aka is that Just Push Print, JPP? How's it going? Hey, Tech Jeeper, how's it going this evening? Julie, welcome in. Happy Thursday. Yes, it is. We got some coffee and we're playing with wirings. Yeah, great day. That was trippy. The audio was looping for a bit. I hope it was just on your stream and not something on my stream. I'm going to Rocky Mountain, Pez. I'm going. JPP, you and Melissa are going to be there. Nice. Yeah, nice. Ooh. Gotta respond to Jason. What do I want to do? So I'm trying to be semi-strategic on what I'm grabbing and pulling off and getting ready to pull over to this board just to make sure that everything's lining up where I need it to. Yes, that's a fan. We are going to run a PT1000, but that's going to go into the tool board. Hear about that, or that. Vertical wiring. So do we only have one RGB header? Gonna suck. Got our in stops up here. Fans are all down here. One RGB header. We might have to see if we can assign another RGB to something, or we'll have to daisy chain these. You're doing good except for an AMS being injured. Yeah, I've got an AMS that I need to do some TLC on. It's the 5-volt PD and ground. I might be able to plug the other RGB into something else. Really, you just need 5-volt ground and a pen, right? In the right order. Or who knows, maybe we'll just connect them together. I think the rest is just going to be understanding the pin outs. My plan, sorry for the desk scroll there. My plan is going to be to just move the CB1 module over to include the SD card for it and stuff. That way I don't have to redo all of the config. We have something we can sort of start off with. I'm still going to have to redo the printer config, but I wouldn't have to rebuild the whole thing. Or maybe I'll just rebuild the whole thing. Who knows? It's me. I will play schizophrenic for a while. I think I'll be able to tell what traced them already. Pull these back out. See, fan goes this way, one fan goes that way. There's a fan. There's a fan. These are RGBs. So we now know that. The other thing that I'm going to have to get interested in is CAN bus. Is there CAN bus directly on this thermistor? Is there CAN bus output on this CAN? There is CAN. It's a single CAN instead of two. But that's okay. I technically only need one CAN to get this up and running. Because of the change in toolhead, we're not going to need to use the rear one, though we still might use the rear one, and make that a hot pluggable toolhead cable so that we can take it. I'm thinking routing. We'll see. I'm trying to think how to route it because of the way normally you'd have a cable gland or something that you could attach to, and we won't have that this. So we're going to have to do some creative thinking on that. We only have one of the two RGBs, so that's going to be a blast. White cable. White cable is going. Is bed thermistor. Okay, the white cable is the bed thermistor. Toolhead thermistor would not even be on here, so white cable, bed thermistor. Help me remember that. This is main power in, traces all the way back to the board. Uh-oh. I missed. Are you pretty good with printer configs? You're trying to compare the old and new configs for the Key X Plus 3. If it's Clipper, yes. Then you can hit me up on Discord. If somebody can do a bang Discord, you can hit me up on Discord and send me the configs and I can take a look at it. I think the board is gone on this one. Oh yeah. Mine's still working, but it's like one lane that's having issues, so I need to basically just disconnect it from the printer, set it down here, and play with it on the bench. Maybe that might be a stream coming up. Hey, Bearded Printer, welcome in. Your Solvo Zero should be here tomorrow. Nice, Chewy. You know what should be here tomorrow? I should have a package with hopefully the correct, well, one way or the other, I should have 4mm thermocouples for the KeyDX Pro for my DM. Hopefully it gets here in time that I can take his printer back to him. Because that would be awesome to be able to just take it right back to him on a standard night when I'm going to be there anyhow, not to set up a special meeting. Where am I at here? I ordered what were supposed to be KeyDX Pro thermocouples off of eBay, and they wound up being 3mm. And when I looked, it actually requires 4mm. So I was like, well, cruddy darn. So I've got to figure that out. I really need to figure out all the wires. Two wires down here are going to be bed wires because the only thing that it could be is bed wire. Okay. Yeah. That would have to be bed wires. I'll leave that for a second. These are the CAN bus cables, of which we're going to go with one and not the other. I'll have to figure out how I do that. This goes there, this goes there. These are labeled, so no worries. What the heck is this? 2 wires. Got to be a Y-end stop. Yes, Y-end stop. X end stop would have been on the old board, but we're going to do centerless homing for X, keep physical for Y, and then Z is going to be the beacon probe, which will come back and connect into our CB1. Darn you, come out. Fine. Be that way. Take you off. Out, ripping that cable off, preferably. Won't work completely. I'll have to redo the You guys ever get a JST connector that just does not want to come out? There we go. It was that one. Dead wire. Okay. I probably should be looking for a Manta M8P board mount so I can get that going on a printer at some point. Manta M8P den mount. Seriously? Do they have a den mount on their anybody know where there's a good hey Petty, welcome in. And Lurt. They come out as I'm getting the side cutters to pry them out. Yeah. Get the side cutters or the oh goodness. All right, let's go. We're on GitHub. See if they've got a M8P mount somewhere under. Octopus, FDR, spider, octopus bracket. Idea. Octopus bracket. Yep. Ah, okay. Think. Printables. I know there's got to be one somewhere, relatively simple. I don't want a vertical one. Double den mount. Two different den. Up, up. We go. There we go. We can do that. Maybe. Let's work on the that should still work on the standard thing. Sorry folks, I'm getting ready to do the board swap, and I figure I probably want to try and get a mount for the new board. Mounting bracket for the rat rig. That won't work. Kind of good to know there's one for the rat rig. Don't need fans. And I definitely don't want it that has built-in springs. That just drives me insane. Because they either work or they don't work. Know how they're mounting. Driver mount. And, oh, great. Okay. I've got something downloaded. We'll print that out and we'll just call that good. Bamboo. Air. Delete that. Phone. Select all. Change to ABS. Rethink that. Yeah. Apparently these mounts are going to be red. That's floating region. What? People. Orient your All right, in an hour we'll have a new mount for it. Let me just triple check that I don't have one already down here. Then I don't. Okay, so that's good. Sorry about that. You're playing in traffic and lurking seems safer. Yes, please lurk. Do not try and watch me and drive. You have a small sponsor giveaway to do at Remurf. Well, giving away an LGX Lite Pro extruder. I know it's not much, but it's a start. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, for Denrail. And I'm gonna go ahead and like it would be easier just to print these parts right here, and I think they will match the DIN clips, but I'm not 100% sure if they'll match these DIN clips, so I might as well just print the low profile ones, even though I hate those with a passion. Cannot express enough how much I hate these with a passion. But it is what it is. We'll get this started, and that'll take about an hour. Meanwhile, we'll continue to work. I need to take the CB1 module off over here. We'll go back to bench side, and I'll bring you guys down there. I might just sit down as well, because why not? Need to take this off the mount, and then I also need to take, actually, I don't need to take this off the mount. Probably mount this somewhere else. Is that not? Oh. 0.5. Yeah, so this is a 350 size Trident. Yeah, it was a deep fried hero like Thanksgiving Day sale. So it was basically 3 or 4 kits slapped together to say, hey, here's a Trident. Oh, the thermal pad. Oh, there we go. Like the thermal pad actually stuck. So there's the thermal pads. That's good. The thermal pad works. Screw that dropped. That there. We need to pry this up and off the board. And it's better to try and do it if you've got a iFixit kit, which I do. Thank you, Evil Diesel. Grab one of your, I'm just going to refer to it as a spooger. What do they call those little plastic things that you use to take clips out and stuff? Like, I literally don't know what they call these things here. Tool is designed to break before your device does. Well, that's good to know. But you're going to use this and come in from the sides and try and lift it up, hopefully without busting a resistor or anything else. Like that. Okay, because you got these 2 connectors here, you want to come from one or both sides. Now what we need to do is figure this out and get it orientated. So these connectors are also, if you can see, they're offset to one side, so it will only fit in one direction. And of course, these holes have this little masking film on. You got to take those off of each hole. Normally I'll take these off and then I'll find them sticking to something around the shop all the time. Like the gift that won't go away. And normally you'll see the same thing. It's like a piece of Kapton tape there. You'll see that there's some on the top of your USB drives. Leave them there. This is to try and keep from hitting metal on metal and grounding it out. There's some over these dip switches as well. These dip switches, let me verify, are used, yes, for the PT1000 setting if you're running a PT1000 thermistor directly off the board. So once again, we're going to look at our hole spacing and our board-to-board connector spacing. Make sure we're going in the right direction. Line the holes up on those through holes, and that will line up our connectors. I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of rock back and forth, make sure it's good. One finger over each side connector and push it down on there. Okay. Now, if you haven't put your antenna on before this point, put it on now. It's going to be a lot easier to get in there and put it on there when you're not having to fight around the whatchamacallit, the heat sink. God. You put the spooger away and get this out of the way so I can sit back down. And there's a little cutout right here, and this cutout is right where your thing's at. So you just line it up over the holes. You'll drop your screws in and screw your screws down. Make everything tight. Hey, Shenanigans, how's it going? Westery One, how you doing, sis? Glad to see you're here. Hey, Polymorph, welcome on in. Yeah, the spooger. Well, I thought it was called. Hold on, let you resub the ads. Gotcha. Yeah, so the we're having to do a brain swap here because the board that was originally in it was a Manta M5P, which does not have enough ports for our new configuration. So we moved the 5 stepper motors over, which would be B, A, and then the 3 Z's. We need 2 more for the front motors that we've added now. So let me grab those. You know, I keep tripping over them. Those are the easy drivers. I've laid eyes on them. And apparently I put things over the top of them. So we'll go ahead. We'll need 2 more of our drivers. So we'll just peel back for 2 more. We will peel back 2 more. We're going to use a knife to do it, apparently. Why are you being so... All right. Well, did not want to come out. Okay. So just like before, we'll put our heat sinks on these. The Westery One, how are you doing today? What have you been working on? I know Shenanigans has been working on, it was a another turbo fan. It was a twin like turbo fan jet engine thingy, right? Just breaking and fixing stuff. Well, at least you're fixing what you break. I was kind of doing that as well. I've been working on fixing the Optimus P1 down at Echovate, and went down there, and funny enough, when I showed up, the gentleman that had dropped it off was actually in the store. So I got to chat with him a little bit. He's going to get me some information on a couple of things, but yeah, he was kind of shocked at the wiring cleanup and stuff and how neat things look. So that was good. We got it moving under its own power. I did, the BL Touch and everything was working, and I was trying to do some moves to validate the Z offset. And well, apparently when you think you're moving in 1 millimeter increments and you're moving in 10, I crashed the tool head into the build plate and snapped a titanium heat break. A brand new one, I might add. That was slightly depressing. Okay. We've got the SanDisk card in here. We'll pull out. And actually, this Manta M5P may make it may make an appearance in that Optimus P1 down the road. So what we can do is find the SD card slot right there. We can actually plug this into 5-volt power, turn it on, and work through the config, and we can start working on this config a little bit. Say hey to everybody but me. Oh, Mod Light. Sorry, I didn't see you. It's the colors. Sorry. How's it going there, Mod Light? How are you doing, young man? Yeah, it was one from Polished, so Polish 3D or Polished on Amazon, like 15-20 bucks. It's not that bad. It could be worse. I didn't destroy the Fadus nozzle. I didn't crack the 600 by 600 millimeter glass. That would have sucked. Because then we would have had to source a new panel. But I thought I had crazy ideas for this. one of the kids that was there helping me and Waters work on it till 11 last night, he was sitting there like, well, why don't we just clipperize this thing now? Why even mess with the Marlin? We were like, because we're not sure if things work. Like, we need to make sure that the printer moves and works first. Then we can go in and start tweaking and tearing things apart. And speaking of making sure things work, I believe I still had the extra long and extra. Nope, no, I don't. What did I do now? Oh, right there. All right, bear with me. I need to plug in a long extension cable so that we can plug that board in, and we'll bring up the config and see how much of it we have to update, because we're going to have to, I don't know, maybe we just wind up blowing it away and starting fresh, but we'll see. Okay, USB. Oi. Bring that up. Bring this over here. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can power it on and just see if, we can take that config and just modify it, or we just blow it away and start fresh, because moving from an M8P or an M5P to an M8P, honestly, it might be good just to pull this config and save it off, and we can bring it up and kind of do a 1-for-1 of this should now be over here. Yeah, we'll blow it away and start fresh, but what I'm going to do first is we're going to take this, plug it in, and I need to grab the printer.cfg file off of this. I have a feeling that this is going to be here for, over the weekend. Decode scripts, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, you can't get to the file system. So let's do the right thing. Got not an active hard drive. I don't know why it gives me the option of like removing my SSD drives. Sock card. Now you got to be careful because there's two different card ports. One says sock card or SOC card, and this one says MCU card. So you'd use this one if you're running Marlin or what have you, or trying to flash this via a card. Use this side if you're flashing or trying to do with the surface on a chip card. The other thing I need to do is, where's my 5-volt jumper? I have a feeling it's the one right there next to the, yes, it is. So I need one more jumper, or we'll just grab a jumper, use. The jumper. We just jumpered that one right there, which is VUSB. So that means you're using power over the USB. And we'll need our USB cable that came with it. Been rough, spent 5 days in the hospital. Has to go in on the 22nd for surgery. Oof. Yeah, no worries, man. Take your time and you got to deal with family. That's non-negotiable. So that goes in. We've got power. This should come up, and then we'll be able to come into this on the screen and just download that config real fast. Yeah, I know. It's just annoying. Because eventually one of these days I'm not going to be careful and I'm going to actually disconnect like an active drive. Okay, what do we name this? This was, yeah. Okay, we got some adaptive mesh stuff, some clipper screen, line purge. All of the adaptive mesh and line purge should be in Clipper from the get-go now, so we shouldn't have to mess with that. Download macros. Download Clipper screen. Might just be a blank file. Pretty much. Probably doesn't need to be there, but we'll have it just in case. Main Sailor Moonraker. Printer config, that's going to be the big one. Printer config base would be even a better one. So what's the difference? Printer config. So printer config base should be my base config. This is when I'm like talking and I am showing. So kind of how I do it is I have my CAN bus routed to the back panel here. So I would be able to plug in a secondary CAN bus device, and that could be an ERCFA, or most likely this printer config had some stuff to go and call out the ASC for the box turtle. Once again, I'm not going to be able to have box turtle on this in this current config, so we're going to shut this down now. And CB1, so I can't do main sail OS. So we need GitHub CB1, or a system image for CB1. What I do is I always pull down the base image. Not that image. Releases. That's what we want. So I do not pull down the CB1 Clipper version. I bring down the minimal, and then I use Kaya to install. I don't know what they're doing in the Clipper config, so that's how I always do it. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Oh, that's cool, Modlight. Definitely cool. Yeah, take care of yourself. I do get that. We we've dealt with some of that as well. My family tends to, we'll just say, not give us all the truth. So they'll tell one story to my brother, one thing to me, and then me and my brother have to get together and figure out what reality is. Bar pie imager up there. Okay. There it is, Raspberry Pi imager. I'm going to need this. We need to shut our CB1, or not shut, but unpower the CB1. Just unplug it there. We'll pull the SD card out of it, put it back in our little card reader. And card reader in there. Yep. External drive connected. Yep, got it. Choose device. No filtering, don't care. Choose OS. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and say use custom. We need to go to that image, which we just pulled down. Say open. Use storage. It is the 16 gig drive. Once again, do not overwrite your other drive. Bad thing, you have bad days. Say next. Do you want to apply customization settings? I believe I don't think we want to. Not on the CB1, right? Oh, cool, Modlight. Hey, Mad Owl, how's it going? We said the box turtle won't work on this config. Did you mean hardware or software? Hardware. And I'll show you why in just a second. Let me get this thing started, and then I'll give you one user's manual. Blah, 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 blah. Raspberry Pi imager. We need to go down to page 13. It's because of the hardware that we have. Interface, ship, yep. Flat. No pins. Right OS. There we go. You can use Raspberry Pi imager or Bolana etcher. We use Raspberry Pi. Custom. And it's going to look like we don't. Yeah, that's what I need to know. So we don't do any OS customization. So we'll say no. All data will be erased. Yes. All right, and that's going to go for a little bit. So as it does that, I will come to the overhead display here. And as long as the camera works, yes. So this right here is why we can't use let me rephrase this. I feel that Box Turtle works the best with a toolhead cutter. Currently, the setup that I have on here, and I can't turn it up to use the other camera, is a Takeoff toolhead with a tube. So the Takeoff tool head with the Chube running an FXD extruder from Advanced 3D Printing. So I don't have any tool head sensors. There's not the ability for a tool head sensor in here. I believe there is a potential for an adapter that I can stick between here to add a sensor and a cutter. But now I'm getting way up here at the top. That's not going to work without doing some type of extension to the frame. This is kind of a beefy, large extruder. So, no, the box turtle will work on the CB1 because we talked to it over CAN bus, and the CB1 is fine. It could do that. Or were you saying don't pre-write your network settings and stuff? Probably what you were saying. But Matt Al, this setup right here is why we can't do it. When we took the Filomatrix toolhead off, then we went to CNC all-wheel drive setup. So we have motors on all four corners with 9mm belts. We've installed the Takeoff tool head, and Takeoff is an SLM printed, so it's a centered layered metal, I think is what it stands for, process. So it's basically a 3D printed metal tool head mount along with the fan ducts. And we're running 12-volt PWM fans, and we'll have a beacon probe that will mount down here. And all that comes up. I'm going to mount a Big Tree Tech EBB42 on the back of the board, which will be CAN bus. So we'll have CAN bus to the board where we'll be able to get our PT1000 thermistor and our heater going. Well, I can't run the fans through it, and beacon doesn't run through it reliably. So that's going to have to all come back as well. It's kind of one of those things where it would make sense just to do a straight umbilical, and I might literally do that once I get into wiring this thing up. So it's just more of, then I have to extend wires all the way back to the board, but I'm going to extend a handful of them anyhow. So I don't know. Selective laser melting, selective laser center. Okay. Thanks, Petty. Sounds good, Monlight. Take care of yourself. Yeah, really the easiest and best way to do it is if you have a filament runout sensor and a cutter as close to the tool head as possible. You can do it going all the way back to the box turtle, but then you're measuring distance from the hub sensor in the box turtle all the way to the nozzle. And that's painful. You can also do ramming. I personally, the only thing that I've had that has rammed well is the MMU3, but that's because Prusa owns the printer, the hardware, the MMU, and they've got their ramming down to a science because they're on the third iteration of the MMU, right? So they don't have a tool head cutter. They still have a tool head sensor. Their cutter is at the MMU, and it's used only when necessary, like when it can't load. It's part of its routine. It will attempt to load. It doesn't load. It pulls it back. It'll attempt to load again. If that doesn't work, it pulls it back. It cuts, and then it attempts to load a third time. And if it can't do that, then it will notify you that it's got a problem that it can't resolve for itself. So, And I'm sitting here, I'm like, while this thing is going, I could probably be doing something rather than just standing here. We have wires for the standard, well, we have 4 wires that came with it. The only way that these 4 wires that go to the pigtail connectors, which are microfit, oh, I say that and boom, it's done. Or did it fail? It's done. So, been written. You now remove the SD card. Continue, close, close, close. Sorry about that. I'll go back to the full display. We will see, we're not seeing our drive, so it's pretty simple. We'll unplug it, plug it back in. We should see that drive pop up. There it is. And away. We're looking for system config. There it is. And we want to be careful about what we open this up in. We don't want to use standard Notepad. You can either open it up in Visual Studio Code or Notepad++. You don't want to use standard Notepad because it adds things it should not add. And what you're going to do is you can go over Ethernet or you can go over wireless LAN. We're going to, of course, go over wireless LAN, which means I need to put my Wi-Fi information in here. And was there anything else? Nope, it would just be connecting via SSH at that point. Then compiling firmware and stuff. We can do that as well. Okay, so basically we're going to change this information. We'll uncomment this information. So I believe it's just that one and that one. I don't think we need to uncomment these other 2 lines. Yeah. Didn't need to uncomment the comments. There's also some other information here that you might have to do for if you're using a pad 7, which we're not. So you would put your SSID here and then your password. I'm going to go off the screen because, well, I don't want you to see either one of those pieces of it. So you'll get to come back over here while I type over here off screen. Or let me rephrase that. You'll come back over here. I'll click over here so that it doesn't try and do a keyboard shortcut. And there's that. Save it. Close it. Make sure that the date changed to today's date, which it did. Bring you guys back over here. So the date changed to today's date. So that means we're good. It took the change. We'll switch over to something and we'll eject this. Safe to remove. Good. Move that. Go ahead and disconnect that. We're going to take the drive, put it back into our CB1 module hard slot. And then we're going to plug in our CB1 module again. Or CB1. Yeah, we're going to power up our board again. We're going to give that a couple of seconds. And if my router does the magic, ooh, I was going to say, if the router does the magic, it would get the same IP address, but no, it won't, because it, no, I guess the wireless LAN should keep the same MAC address because it's the chip on the board that's the wireless. I came over here, well, no, that should just be a pass-through as well. It should come up with the same IP address, and we'll check that in just a second here. Do I not have putty? We're going to see 192.168.10.87 port 22. Okay, potential security breach. Yep. We're going to say accept. The login is BQ. All lowercase. That was BQBQ. Did it not? No, BQ, BQ. BIQQ. Access. Well, at least that's good. So it's active because it let me log in, but it's not taking BQ. Did they by any chance change the default login? This is weird. Nothing says that they changed the default login. So let's try and reconnect. BIQU. BIQU. By Raspberry and Pi. Well, we did their whatchamacallit? We did their image. I mean, we'll try it. We'll try Pi and Raspberry. And actually, let's just do this. Let's just see what got connected. Big Tree Tech CB1 is at 1087. That is definitely the right, I am going into the right machine. Okay. That's good. We are going into the right machine, 0.87. So yep, no, not that one. That's weird. Yeah, it's definitely always worth a shot. I mean, yes, I was typing all lowercase, but it's supposed to be BQBQ. I'm gonna have to go to an old. I might have to reflash to an older release. I mean, it's coming up, but if it won't let me access, then there's not much I can do. That was basically like the latest version. Past December. Issue. Okay. Look at the releases. So, what do you think? Drop back one, root and root. Um, I don't know why they would change the login across versions. That would make that would make little to no sense. That's probably why it makes sense. But no, I'm going to go ahead and download this image. Once again, I'm doing the minimal install. Go away. Stop trying to sell me things. Okay. Now let's Raspberry Pi images. here, choose S, custom, grab the 516 kernel, choose storage, we'll grab that one. Next, no. All right, so as I was saying the last time, we were given 4 motor cables. Because each motor has a pigtail that uses our microfit 3 connectors. So these should work fine lengthwise, I believe, for our 8V motors. That one might be a little tight. Nope, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. So we can run these 2 rear motors and get those ready for install. The front 2 motors, though, we're going to need to do, we'll just say, some bashing. And what I mean by that is we're going to need to use different wires, because all 4 of these wires that they provided are the exact same length, and they will not fit, basically. As you can see, this one's barely going to fit. So routing one from the front. So if this motor back here going straight down, around and over is barely going to fit, coming from up here, going up to the top, coming down, around, isn't going to fit either. So what I did was I've got some 2-meter long cables. So I'm going to take one of these and see if this will route. And if it will route right, then I will just make the pigtail and the opposite end match. You know, make the colors match between the ones that they provided and the ones that I will use. So once again, we'll be coming somewhere up here, across, down, and around, down through, and this will be plenty long. So what I'll do is depin this, or just cut it off, one of the two, and make a microfit pigtail that matches the wire colors of the pigtails that they are providing. That should, so I'll match it on this end, and then when I go to terminate, I'll match this end. That should match up right. If they gave me cables that do not match the phasing of the motors, then that's kind of a really, guys, type of party foul. But micro fits. And I've got 4 ways in here. These are I need the 4-way female side, right? 2x2, both sides. So that's all. That just finished verifying. So let's go back and see if we can do some configs here. I'll do this wiring off stream. I just realized that camera is moving, following me. Full display. I don't know why I did that, because I know that I need to put my wireless information in here. So let me go back to the bench side real fast. Just going to pull this, plug it back in, let it detect. No, don't run scan. Good. Here, there. Open the system config. Huh, that's interesting. This time the SSID and password piece was uncommented by default. Don't need to do anything for the add 7. Good, good, good. Save. Close. File did update. Eject. Pull this card. Enter it, or insert it, and apply power back to our module. Got power, we've got power. Come back here to full display. Grab putty again. We give it a few seconds. It's going to take a little bit. Root should be admin on the CB2 repo. So this is a CB1, so unless they change something, we'll try BQ, and that works. So they may have changed it in the newer kernel, which really doesn't make sense, but I get it. You're building a Micron R1 is not flush cutting Z belts a sign of weakness? No, not at all. So the first thing that you want to do, it's actually telling you there right up above. I'm going to do a sudo apt update. This is going to update the packages. Or actually, and sudo apt upgrade -y. So if I did that right, it's going to do the update and check for, update its package listings. And then it should go right into the upgrade cycle and just start applying the upgrades. Because I did the -yes, it's just going to do it. So the login for this version was BQ. So on the older version, which uses Linux kernel 5.16, is BQ. On the latest version, which was done in December, which uses the Linux kernel 6.x, it might have been updated to root. Yeah, it might have been a whoopsie that slipped through the release cycle. And this is where it starts taking a little bit of time. We'll do this update, and then we'll have to think what I'm going to do, loop that up there. This stuff is semi-loop. Do that, we do that. This is external wiring, and I can trace that if I forget between now and the next session. It'll be Saturday. I think what I'm going to do is take this and set it down on the ground so I can sit down and we can just chat through this. Oi. Don't worry, that was actually just the top part of the bento box, so I did not break said printer. No printer was harmed. We just knocked the bento box off. Yeah. I know. There we go. Okay. So we will have to do some pinning. Maybe we can work on pinning 2 of these while we do some software side of things. I'm going to need one of these so I can see the side that we're going to need to cut. Make sure you cut the right side of this, which will be the side that has the 6-pin on it. We're going to should have plenty of length now. So I'm actually going to be able to make this a pigtail for something down the road if I need to. And once again, we're just going to split the 4 wires out and then pin them to match this side of the connector. So when we go to actually plug it up, we'll cut it fully to length at that point and then re-terminate that side once again using the same color scheme. So that makes our lives a little bit easier. And I know I said I was going to stop at 8. We'll go a little bit longer doing the software side of this while I'm working this piece. And oh, I didn't like that. Great. Up. Build the tree. How much do we have to do? Yes, yes. Say yes. Here we go. Okay. So once again, we'll get this going, and as soon as that's done, we'll go over and we'll install Kaya, and then we'll start doing our software install for Kaya. And once that's done, then I will call it a night. Go down and spend some time with Mrs. Dragon before she leaves this weekend. I need to actually tell Waters and them that I'm not going to be down there tomorrow. I was planning on going down and working on that printer, and it dawned on me I'm supposed to be with Evil Diesel playing Dungeons and Dragons. These are the pointies. These ones get the pointy side. Now, in the past, I have been known to make my own motor wires from scratch. Maybe 3D helped with that. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. So we've got some parts coming in for the Key Tech X Pro that's sitting over here off screen. And we've also got some stuff coming from KB3D. So KB3D and I will be doing a joint stream building the fracks. So once I get my kit in, we'll set up a time. Most likely going to be a Sunday because that's when he streams. So it'll be a kind of an extra stream for the Dragon Den. And we're going to have to set up to do a joint stream. And we'll build our fracks together. So for those of you that aren't familiar, you've got your stealth press, and then the fracks is actually, think about your old mechanical lamps. That's kind of what it looks like. It's an articulating arm that mounts to the side of your bench. We'll be doing one of those. With Mr. Chris. There's something else coming in that package, which will be a, apparently I ordered 4 DHT vanadium 1.0 nozzles. That will be for the large printer because they're all volcano nozzles. Those will be for the Optimus P1 Pro. Two wires. You want to build one? Well, cool. We should, it's probably going to be, it won't be this weekend. It might be next week or the week after that we'll build it because we just have to deconflict our schedules. And then also, for those of you that are in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, I'm kind of voice promoting this right now. I just got access to the Discord server for Ecovate so that I can create an event over there. But we're going to do maker meetups at Ecovate one Saturday every month. So I picked 4 days. The next 4 months, and of course we're going later in the month this month because of Easter, later in May because of Rocky Mountain, later in the month of June because of Murph, and then July we can actually go kind of mid-month or late month because, I mean, we've got the 4th of July, but that's literally the first weekend of the month. So we can work around that schedule. Okay, so that is complete. We now need to come over here and we will look up Kaya, K-I-A-U-H, Clipper Installer and Update Helper. We're just going to come down here and grab a couple of commands straight off the bat. This is the apt-get update, which we've already done. We're just going to do the sudo install for git. Should be in there by default, but we'll make sure. Yep, it's already installed. Good. Now we need to grab this next command, which will clone Kaya. That should go by pretty fast. done. And then we're going to run the Kaya script. Once again, we're just copy and pasting. And now, would you like to try out the new Kaya? Still in alpha, so that's a no. Not this time. Ask me next time. Okay, we're going to install now. So number 1, enter. And you basically just run down the list. We need to install Clipper first. So 1. Select the version of Python. Yep, 1's good. Number of instances, the default is 1. That's all we need. And it'll start doing its thing. Meanwhile, I need to grab this and figure out my colors. So we've got blue and red. Go say on the bottom, but that's actually the top. Blue and red. These are kind of some, I don't want to say thin, but they're not very robust wire. So I may need to just give them a little push. Are you not get in the right direction? Going in the right direction, but hanging on something and not hearing or feeling the click. What the hey? Flip, flip. Oh, I'm running the right size of pin. Now I've like literally deformed. That one went in. Screen just why other being we're just gonna flip and redo. Why, but we'll work with it. Hey, Reprinted, how's it going, Pete? Welcome on in. Mr. Wizix, how's it going? Mr. Wizix, my brother-in-law absolutely loves your handle. Thought you should know that. Apologize for sort of multitasking here, trying to figure out why some of my connectors went in without a hitch and others are issues. What in like that just popped in and then it popped back out like being all right. We're not worrying tonight about that. Doing good. Thank you. Had variations since you started on the internet. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I have no idea why two of them went in just, and then the top ones on these are just like, nope, don't want to work. So that one went in. So now this one needs to get recranked. That back off. More time. Oh, hey, our thing's done. Okay, so now that clipper's done, we need to go to the next item. So we'll hit 2 to do Moonraker. Install Moonraker, yes. That we wanted to do. Yeah, that's the pain sometimes with the Molex. And like everything, if it's the larger size, it's to me always seems a ton easier to get good crimps. It's always when you're using the smaller size crimp or connectors. And like I said, with Molex, you got to be like straight on the money. Okay, that one worked. Okay. So our cable's a little bit funky, but that's fine. I can live with it. So that's one. We need to do two. Need to do two of these. Then that gives me one spare for another motor down the road. And I think I ordered another set of these, so I'll have another set coming in of like 4. These are the 2 meters. I think when I was doing the black box, I ran out of cable and I literally had to order some like these, and I had to find 3 meters. And the only place I could find 3 meters was AliExpress. Like nothing stateside had a 3-meter one, and 2 meters wouldn't be long enough. So we'll do the same thing. We'll find the 6-pin side. We'll trim a bit. Grab the 6-pin side. We'll do like this. We'll just come down and be like, okay, about right there. And we'll try it again, and hopefully this time we can do it without any major issues. Like I said, I'm just going through and doing this as we're waiting for software to install. I can clean. I just try and do these one at a time. That way, if I screw one up, I can. Hopefully, it's not the last one that I screw. But yeah, that's the one problem with microfits is they have to be right in line, and if they're not, then it acts all stupid like. And the little wings won't lock. There's black. Green, we'll get those two inserted and then we'll do for the other one. And just like that, Windbreaker's done. So now we're going to go to number 3, which is mainsail. You can do mainsail or fluid. I tend to like mainsail, so I just go with mainsail. There's a couple of things that I've got that run fluid, and fluid kind of sort of resembles the whatchamacallit, the RepRap interface a little bit more. By RepRap, I mean the Duet RepRap firmware interface. It's a little bit closer to that one. But yeah, I'm going to try and create an event over on the Excavate 3D website or Discord site, and I'll link it over, or I'll post it and link it for everybody. So if you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area and you want to come hang out, definitely come hang out with us. We'll do it one Saturday a month. We'll alternate between a morning day and a afternoon day or evening day. Really an afternoon or an evening, because I like that. So back bottom left. Those two went in without a hitch, like they were supposed to. Okay, download the recommended macros. Yeah, not going to hurt. And we're done. Okay, this does have clipper screen, so we'll need to do clipper screen, which is 5. Yes. I want to do that. We do not want to do Wayland, so we want X or X server. I've never done Wayland. I've just always used X server. If anybody's ever installed the Wayland and run Wayland, let me know. Let me know what your experience was. I mean, it may work perfectly well. Like I said, I've just never used it. I've stayed with the X server. Now, you line up and go in without an issue. Three for 3. One more. Hope that we don't make a mistake on this one. knock on some type of wood, particle board, plywood, melamine, whatever you got. So I know there's a few more people in here. Who all is going to be at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest here next month? Who all am I going to see over there? I know Pez Liz is going. At least she was earlier. All right, 444 on that one too. Awesome. So we've got our two 2-meter long ones that can go for our front motors. We'll have another one of our, I think it's about a meter, meter and a half. That'll be for the other corner motor or the rear motor. Oh, these are the other DuPont connectors. Like, what am I looking at? Okay. Once again, we got a toolhead board here that we can use to run toolhead CAN bus. The note from Westery. So I don't get to see Sis and I don't get to see my little sweetheart. Not fair, but you're going to come see me at Murph, right? Yeah, you're going to come with us, Eagle? Cool. And once again, we've got, I have a UHP 350 24 volt. So if we have any types of issues with the 200 that's in there, I can swap it out for this one. We've got, like I said, a toolhead board. I was going to run CAN bus toolhead board, but unfortunately with the CAN bus boards, the standard EBB boards, which is the EBB36 and the EBB42, the fans are not voltage selectable on this board. It's whatever voltage you have coming in. We're going to be having 24 volt coming in. And the fans are 12 volt. And I was looking to see if we could find some 36, 28s and 24 volt. And I found some places that said they can do it, that they have them, but they're AliExpress. And I don't know. I just don't know. I don't trust it. Murph is June 20th weekend. Yeah, I believe so. That sounds about right, Pez Liz. Sounds about right. Version. This is a EBB CAN version 1.2. So we would be able to put the hot end, the thermistor. There is no hot end fan. It's just the two fans. Run to, well, and that's what I was thinking is, can I run them in series? Now they're 4-wire PWM fans. I might ask ModBot, and I'm going to look and see how people run those. Because basically that would be, yeah, positive coming into one, negative to positive, and then negative coming out of the other. And that basically turns to 12 volts into 24 volts, right? Or no? That'll, yeah, that should, I don't know. I'll have to think about it, Will Allen, and figure out the best way of doing it. Um, yeah, doubles the resistance. Yeah, I'll have to double check that. We will have to do this CAN bus board. We can do all of this on the bench as well. So we're getting the CB1 set up. Once the CB1 and clipper is set up, we can try and update the board. I believe we can update the board directly from the CB1 without having to do anything crazy. If you make it, you're going to have to bring me up. Well, yes. Like, yes. You got to bring Mia. That's part of the. I mean, I love you, sis, and I do want to see you regardless. But yeah, you got to bring Mia. She misses her Uncle Luke. If she comes, she may have treats for the ride home. You know, just saying. Manta M8P. Flash. Sorry for the death scroll. I tend to do this when what I need is all the way down at the bottom. You only get a couple of pages at a time. Yeah, because basically we'd be connecting them into the 4-wire pin. So you'd have to have ground and voltage, then PC1, PC2. Oh no, that's the CM4. We're not doing a CM4. Um, I think we'll have to do this because we connect to the Connect to the SPI screen, not the DS1. The firmware, there we go. We'll try and do it via DFU, and we can do it in Kaya, so that would be even better. Speaking of Kaya, install network manager for the network. Yeah, I hate doing that. We will. And there's a reason why, because you have to. God, I hope I didn't just mess myself up, and I did. Dang it. So here's the issue. When you tell it to do that, and I don't know why I just did it. Now the only way that this is going to talk to the network again is by going on the screen and joining the network from the screen. Which means having to connect the screen up, which is over there and not very accessible. Ooh, is it going to let me? Oh, it did let me. Surprise, surprise. So no, we still don't want to use the beta version. So it's got Clipper, Moonraker, mainsail, and Clipper screen. Good. So we need to go back into install. Is there anything else? Nope. No need to do crow's nest or anything. So we'll go B for back. Now let's go into advanced, which is 4. And here's where you can do your, you can flash your toolhead board. So I want to do a build and flash. So it's going to be 4. Hold that thought, because we need to do this with, she heard treats, her ears perked up. I bet they did. So I'm going to hold this thought real fast. I'm going to quit out of this. And it's going to do that. And I'll let that finish. And here's why. We need to do it for CAN bus. So where is, my link for esoteric? Further up. happened? Oh, there it is. Esoterical's CAN bus guide. This is like the best guide for setting up your CAN bus. New build. Click here. Make sure that certain things are set up to be allowed. So right here, I'm going to say back, back, quit. Okay. We're going to do some copy and paste. Okay, loaded active, that's good. What we want. Get that to go away. Okay. So big long line there. Once again, we're just copy and pasting through the guide. Okay, yep. So it looks like he's made some changes to reduce some issues. We just set up our CAN 0, I believe. Now we're going to say what was there. Yep, there's CAN 0. There's the bit rate, the restart in seconds, queue length, so on and so forth. Finally, reboot the Pi so the systemd network service can be started properly with the config. Which, of course, breaks our connection. Give that a few seconds to do its thing and reboot. CAN bus expects both ends to be terminated. We are going to do the CAN adapter on our tool board. Means where is my CAN bus jumper? CAN bus. CAN bus is right there. So my jumper is probably going to be the one right next to it that says 120R. And one of the tiny ones. So Can't get a small one out. Tiny, tiny. On there. And before I forget, we pulled this off of hand jump. Pull that jumper, it can just go right back in the bag. Okay. Back down. Same can be said for the dedicated CAN adapters like the UTC, blah, blah, blah. Tool head, yep, we'll have to do that on the tool head. Cabling, yep, good crimp, stain release, blah, blah, blah. Mainboard CAN interface, clipper, USB to CAN bus bridge. Flash our mainboard for clipper. Update, upgrade, we've already done that. But all in one, so restart this session. Log back in. BQ. Back in. We're going to run these commands. It's going to walk through a sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade. It shouldn't have anything to upgrade, but it might. Nope, but it is going to install the Python packages that we told it to. Okay, that's done. Now we need to install Catapult. We're just going to copy this command and run it. I'm going to clone Catapult. That's done. Catapult. Now we need to configure it to run the Catapult firmware. So we're going to CD into Catapult and then start the make menu config process. We're familiar with that if we've done Clipper. Okay. You'll need to adapt the below instructions so they cover your board. Check out the common mainboard hardware. This is a Big Tree Tech Manta M8P version 2. So 120 ohm resistor is right there. We do have a jumper on that. The CAN port is right there. We do have we'll have that plugged in. DFU mode. Put the board into DFU mode. Hold both the boot 0 button while holding, press and release the reset button. Those two are right there. And there's the Catapult config. So we'll do Catapult first, burn it, and then we'll come back in and we'll do the other config. So STEM32, H723. So we'll right arrow, we'll select STEM32 with the space bar. Should be an H723 right there. We'll double check by looking at our board. And it is correct. We'll hit the space bar to select that. Build catapult. So 128 bootloader and 25 megahertz crystal. So the 128 bootloader, that's basically setting catapult up to be the bootloader. And we need a 25 megahertz crystal. I'll highlight that, hit the space bar. Communication interface for USB. Now, we're setting up catapult. We're not CAN yet, so we're going to talk to it over PA11, PA12. And the application start offset is at 128 kilobits. So USB is good. Our offset stays at 128 kilobit. Nothing for USB IDs. Nothing for support bootloader entry, yes. Enable status LED. You don't really need to, but why not? EC3. Put that in there. Hit enter. Now we're done. We'll do Q to quit. Yes to save. And now we should be doing the make menu config. Or make clean, then make. Make clean is always a good thing to do. It just ensures that there's nothing there when you go to do it. Okay, Westery, have a good one, sis. Yeah, I'm going to call it good here after we finish. We'll flash catapult on here. Doing clipper is basically the same thing, rinse and repeat, follow the instructions. And when we do clipper, it'll be setting up the CAN bridge on the board. So that'll be it for the night. I was planning on getting off here an hour ago, so. Okay, so that's done. To flash, connect to mainboard to the Pi via USB, then put it into DFU mode. So once again, we need to push boot, hold down boot. Press and release reset. And then let go of boot. And that should put the MCU side into DFU mode. These steps. And 32 base boards. Confirm it's in DFU mode by doing an LS USB. Should tell us if the board is in DFU mode, and we do have a STEM electronics device in DFU mode. Excuse me. So you have your Leviathan flash, so just move on to each board install from there. Nighthawk, both boards, and then Beacon. Nighthawk, sorry. You mean reaching through the printer to type. Okay, so you're doing, well, Nighthawk is USB based, right? So you shouldn't have to do, well, it's USB based and it should be flash from the get-go. You shouldn't have to flash that. Okay, so we're there. Now we need to do CD catapult make. We have made. Now we need to do this part right here. So we'll copy that. Whoops, did it twice. Dang it. Yes. So the big thing here is making sure that this ID right here matches that last ID piece. If it does, you're good. Hit return, and it should flash that. Did it? Did it not? Download 0%, blah, blah, blah. Error during special command. Erase page, get status. It did not. Our file is in. One second. Did it do just deployer.bin? CD out. Actually, it did the deployer thing. I don't think we didn't want deployer, did we? Sorry, folks. Give me 1 second here. If you update. Okay. I know the issue and how to fix it. So we go up, up, and instead of catapult.bin, we would do deployer.bin. Because that's where the make file's at. Oh, did we drop out of DFU mode? So we're in DFU mode. Okay, what is going on? Reset the board. Put it back in DFU mode. In DFU mode. I'm going to come back into the make menu config. Do not build. Do yes. Make clean. Make. And this should give me an output of clipper.bin. Or not clipper, catapult.bin. And that gives me camboot.bin. Creating bin file out catapult bin. Creating legacy binary camboot. Okay, so that'll work either way. LSUSB, we're still in DFU mode. Catapult.bin. Sure. Yep. Ends with that. Yep. Claiming USB DFU interface, setting alternate scanning or setting 0. DFU util cannot set alternative interface. Why not? Okay, folks, I'm going to have to go into troubleshooting mode here. No big deal. But with that said, I am going to go ahead and call the stream. Okay. Whoops. Up. Camera. Why? Why are you doing this? Stop track. Okay. There we go. Thank you once again, everybody, for being here tonight. Let me take a look and see who we're going to raid out to Big Jano. To see if he's on. Thursday night, it's Marble Racing night, so of course we look for Jano. Shenanigans is driving. There he's at, Big Jano. Oh, he has not yet started. We'll hang out until I see him out of the corner of my eye get started. Had a 13-hour troubleshoot mode yesterday on an industrial machine and turned out to be a manufacturer error. Yes, that happens. So there's two ways that we can get around this. I can literally drop the file, put it to a flash drive, and just power cycle this thing and boot it. We can power cycle this and give it another shot. Following the exact same things that we just did. Right, we'll let this come back up. It should have Killed my session, so I'll restart the session. It did it not kill my session? Oh, there it is. Took a bit. BQ. We want to CD into catapult. Don't really need to do a make, but we will want to make sure that we put our thing into DFU mode again. Easier with fat fingers. Hold down boot. Click reset. Let go of boot. It will be in DFU mode. Not going to check. I'm just going to roll with it. And downloading to address. Download 0%. Don't do a LS USB. It shows that it is not in it's not in DFU mode, and it shows up as a Terminus Technology Inc. hub. So big. Install, click steps. Do this command and cannot access dev serial by ID. You don't have this, double click the reset button. Double click that reset button real fast. We'll run that command again. Still nothing. Try that double click faster. Still nothing. See if it's actually in. I don't think it took it. Yeah. Didn't seem to take it. Oops. Yeah, so I'm having issues. Yeah, I'll work this later. I'll troubleshoot it. Hey Jedi Spidey, how's it going? Jedi Spidey, I am getting ready to raid out over to Big Jano. I've been going for a couple of hours and I'm trying to stop some of the marathon streams. I'm just trying to go downstairs and spend some time with Mrs. Dragon. She's taking off this weekend um, for DC for a conference. So I'm trying to go downstairs and spend some time. But with that being said, I just got a raid started to head over to Big Jano. Please go with me as we head over to Big Jano. Show some love for Jano. He is a awesome 3D printer. He does a lot of LED projects, stuff like that. So you guys have a great one. I will see you guys Saturday morning, bright and early. And yeah, take it easy, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you guys on Saturday. Bye now. And for those of you that are watching this over on YouTube, please, if you like the content, like and subscribe down below. Be sure to click that bell to get notified of future videos. And YouTube's going to be suggesting a new video for you over here. Take care.